Hey everybody, Robert Wolfert here. Today again with a new video for random Linux tools explained. Today from a different location. I hope the sound is great here too. So let's start directly with explaining random Linux command line tools. As always, it's all about random Linux command line tools. Command line tools you can use for day-to-day work directly at a command line. And to make it a little bit more interesting, I have added a small challenge for me, and the challenge is that I don't know beforehand what tool to explain. Instead, a tool will be randomly chosen by a script, and just without any further preparation, I try to explain it to you. I try to tell you what you can use the tool for, how you can use the tool, and if there are some interesting things around the tool, from my experience to be worth to explain, to know. Okay, so let's start with sharing my screen. And let's choose the first tool here. Let's go into my tools repository and let's start the choose tool script. Okay, let's say, the winner is grep here this time. Grep is a really great tool. So just for the guys who tune in late, let's write this to the banner here. Now we are talking about grep. Okay, great. So let's talk about grep. What's grep for a tool? Grep is a tool, or grep is that tool when it comes to searching for something. Grep can search within data streams. Grep can search within files. Like many other tools on Linux systems, this tool can search or can work with files or it can work with data streams. And grep works line-wise, and most of you perhaps know this tool already or have used it. Let's have a look at the basics. Let's say I have a file, nice test file, this file etc passvd. And let's say I want to search there for a line. I want to search there for a defined user. etc passvd is a file that contains all the defined user on a system. And let's say I want to see the line showing the user Robert here. Grep Robert etc passvd. Now, as you see, gives me exactly one single line. As grep works line-wise here. Let's search for a different line. Let's search for the line, for instance, where the user root is defined. You see only one single line, and grep by default on this system here colors the patterns, so that you see root is found here, here, and here on this single line. And let's say I want to search for another user, for a third user, and the third user should be the user bin. Yes, bin is the name for the user, and let's say I want to see this user. And what you see here as a result is that I see, I would say, every single line from the etc passvd, just because within etc line there is somewhere on the line the pattern bin. User has been no login, for instance, or bin sync, and so on. And this isn't what I was looking for. I was looking for the defined user bin. How can I accomplish this with the grep command? Some years ago, I walked through a bookstore and I saw a book called Searching with Grep. Really a small book. only about searching with grep, and not because it is so difficult to use the grep command by itself, but to use these search patterns here can be really powerful and really complex. And that's just because the search pattern here can be taken or can be given as a regular expression. Yeah, and a regular expression lets you define exactly what you are searching for. For instance, I'm searching for bin, for the user bin, and if the line contains the defined user bin, then bin starts, or the line starts with the work bin, and after the bin I would have the colon here. Yeah. So this is a regular expression. This is a regular expression, and this is a special character for, or a special sign within a regular expression that stands for the start of a line. Yeah, then we have the pattern itself, the word itself, and after that the colon. So now I only see this single line where the user bin is really defined. Yeah. Okay, so this is a regular expression here, and it can get really complex. Not just because you can use regular expressions with the grep command, you can also use extended regular expressions with the grep command. If you want to use extended regular expressions with the grep command, then you will typically need to add a different or a command line switch here, uppercase E for instance, or you would use the egrep command, yeah, as the command for searching. Yeah, but for the sake of this lesson here, let's just explain the grep command itself, and let's have a look at some options that are really useful for the grep command. Let's stick with the grep robot for now, and let's say I'm not interested in the line by itself, but I'm interested in the number of lines. Yeah, let's say I want to see if there are multiple users defined with the username robot here. Yeah, and I can accomplish this via the -c command line switch, and this gives me now only the one, because one single line contains my search pattern. Let's use this with the bin search pattern here, and now see we have 34 lines containing the bin pattern. Yeah. Okay, this -c is for counting, and if we want to, we could search for multiple files for a search pattern. Yeah, for instance, grep robot in etc passwd, grep robot in etc group, grep robot in etc shadow. Okay, for reading etc shadow I need to be root, so I call this time the grep command via sudo, and now you see, yeah, we have one line in etc passwd, we have 3 lines in etc group, and we have one single line in etc shadow. And if we combine this with the -c for count command line switch, yeah, we see exactly only the file names followed by a colon and the number of lines containing the pattern we are searching for. Yeah, so this is the -c command line switch for the grep command. And if you want to search case insensitive, then add the command line switch -i. Grep searches case sensitive if I search, for instance, for robot, written everything uppercase here, yeah, I won't get any results because grep only searches case sensitive. If I don't want to search case sensitive, then I can use the -i command line switch here for ignore case. Yeah, so now I'm searching case insensitive, and I get all the lines where Robert is within the line, no matter if written all uppercase or if written all lowercase. Yeah, so these are two really useful command line switches here, -I for case insensitivity and -C for counting only. And let's take a third one, a third command line option. Let's take the command line option -V. That stands for negating the search. And this is really often useful if you want to filter out something from a file or from a data stream. And first, before trying this, let's have a look into the etc passwd file itself. And let's see how it's built up. For every user, there is one single file within etc passwd. And you see, as the last field here, all the fields are colon separated. The last field here contains the login shell the user has associated with it. Yeah, we have here the bin bash, we have the bin false, bin bash, bin no login, and so on. And now let's say I want to see every user who don't have the bin false as a login shell. Yeah, so I simply could search with grep bin false etc passwd. Yeah, and now I will get the lines containing bin false. And if I combine this with the -V command line switch, I negate the results, and therefore I will only get the files or the lines not containing bin bash within the line. This is a really great way or really useful way to filter something out from a file or from a data stream. Yeah. Till now, I only showed you how to use grep with a file, but really often grep is used directly within a data stream. What is a data stream? A data stream is everything a command gives you. Yeah? Let's say I have the command ls. What you see here is a data stream. This is the output data stream of the command ls, and this is by default bound to the terminal. Therefore, you see all these file names here. And let's create a larger output. Let's create a larger output. For instance, let's create the output, the listing for the directory etc. Let's say we want to do a detailed listing. I want to see all the meta information available for every file. I want to see the timestamps, and I want to see the ownerships and permissions and so on. And you see here, this is a really long listing, and what you see is that you have at the first character here a marker in the output, and the marker says you what type of file you are observing here. Yeah? If there is a D, for instance, then you see a directory, yeah? Or if you see an L, for instance, then it stands for a symbolic link. So this file is a symbolic link. And if you see a dash, for instance, then this is a regular file. And now let's say I want to see not the regular files in the output of the etc directory. I want to filter out these regular files. I can use this via grep. Yeah? Just use grep -v and combine these two tools, the ls command and the grep command, via a pipe sign. And this pipe sign means we feed the output data stream from the ls command to the input data stream of the grep command. Yeah? Typically, you will perhaps call the grep command with all the options and then the name of a file, But if you omit the name of the file, then grep will read from the input data stream, and the input data stream now is given from the ls command. Yeah? And let's filter the output of the ls command, and I don't want to see the regular files. So I filter out everything or every line starting with a dash, with a single dash. Yeah? Again, remember this is the placeholder for the start of the line. Start of the line, after that a single dash. grep-v filters out all these lines matching the pattern, and now you see only directories, only links, yeah, no regular files anymore. And let's do this even further. Let's now filter out. Let's take the output this grep command gives us and let's pipe this output to the next grep command, and this grep command now shall filter out everything that's a directory, yeah, where the first line or the first character within the line is D, is a directory. So let's filter out these lines too, and you see only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries left, and all these lines start with an L, so these are symbolic links. Yeah, so this is a great way for using grep if you want to filter something out. If you don't want to see all the lines, just use grep-v. Another useful way for using grep is if you are looking for some running processes here. Yeah, let's say you need the tool, or you use the tool PSAX to show you all the running processes on the system. Yeah, that gives you really everything. And let's say I want to see only the processes with the name bash, for instance. Yeah, I could simply use grep bash for this. Now I see I have 2 processes named bash and a third process. Yeah, don't get fooled. And no matter what you are searching for, I grep for something here. If you are searching within a process list, then grep will show you every time a match, and no matter what you're really searching for, because the grep process itself is on a process list. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Double check if you have really found the process you were looking for. Yeah. Okay, so this is the grep command. Grep searches for a pattern or for lines matching a pattern within a file. Or if you don't give a file as a command line option, then grep searches within an input data stream, and typically you will use for this a command line and pipe the output of the command line to the grep command, then use a pattern to search. Yeah, and the useful command line options for grep here are the -c for the counting, or the -v for negate the command, the search, or -i for instance for ignore the case sensitivity, case insensitive. Okay, so these are the some of the most useful, I think, command line options here. Grep knows a way more than these 3. Have a look at the manual page of grep if you want to. And this pattern can be written as a regular expression. And if you know some more information about regular expressions, have a look at the manual page, man7 regx. This is the manual page for the standard regular expressions on the system. If you want to see, or if you want to know more about extended regular expressions, these expressions you can use with the grep command too, and you have to do a web search for this. Yeah. Okay, but this is what the grep command is used for. Okay, great. This was grep. Let's go on to the next tool here. Again, into the repository, and let's start the script, mixing the tools, and the winner is today, or now, getent. Okay, Now the tool getent. Let's talk about getent. If I would ask you how many users or which users are available on your system, how would you go? Typically, you would have a look into the file etc passwd, for instance, to get a list of all available users on the system. If I would ask you how many groups or which groups are defined on the system, you would simply do a cat etc group to see a list of groups available on the system. Yeah? But not necessarily these are all users or these are all the groups available on the system. Let's imagine we take a Linux system into a domain, into a Windows Active Directory domain, for instance. Or let's imagine we connect our Linux system to an LDAP directory or to an NIS directory, the old yellow pages, as they were called in the old Unix days. And then your system would be reconfigured in a way that not only the users from etc passwd or the groups from etc group would be available, but also the users from the connected Active Directory domain and also the users from the connected LDAP environment. If you're interested, etc pam.d would contain the configuration for this, and typically the etc switch.conf would contain the modified configuration here. Yeah, if you want to see really what's defined on your system, use the getent tool. The getent tool is the tool that asks the system for some system database, for all the entries within a system database. And the system database could be the database passwd. And passwd is by default only the local file etc passwd. But this could be extended by an Active Directory domain or by an LDAP directory, for instance. And if you have, and if you ask your system via getent passwd, you would get everything, every available user on the system. Yeah, so getent passwd here on this system only gives me the content of the etc passwd file. Yeah, but if within an Active Directory domain, we could see here different users, and you can use getent to filter for certain users too. Yeah, if I want to, I could say, give me the entry from the system database etc passwd, or from the system database passwd, and the user Robert is the user I'm interested in, or the user bin is the user I'm interested in, or the user root is the user I'm interested in. Yeah, so this is a tool communicating directly with the system-wide API, yeah, for connecting to the user database. Yeah, on this system here, only the etc passwd file is the user database, but as said, that could there could be an Active Directory connected to, or an LDAP directory, and so on. There isn't only the passwd system-wide database, there is the group database too. Yeah, getent group shows me every group available to the system. Getent group and a group for this, for instance, the group Redis gives me only the information about this single group. Yeah. Then there is another system database available via getent. For instance, the database hosts. Yeah, this is the file or the content of the file etc hosts here. Yeah, and if I'm looking for the 127.0.0.1, for instance, I will get exactly this single entry here. There are other system-wide databases available, the networks, the services, for instance, and these databases typically and by default are built up only via files with the same name in etc. Yeah, so for instance, we have etc passvd, we have etc group, we have etc services, we have etc networks, we have etc what else, etc hosts. And these are the three group services. Networks is the file, and etc hosts, sorry, yeah, no, services, networks, hosts, okay, yeah, these are the 5 databases that comes into my mind, and these databases can be extended, yeah, via foreign databases, for instance, and you can use the getent tool to talk to them. Get and give me the servers SSH, for instance. Yeah, get and services, right, is the name of the database. Get and services SSH, and you see exactly this one single line from the file etc services on the system here. Yeah, this is the purpose of the tool getent, to connect directly to this system databases. Okay, this is the getent tool here. Great, let's go to the next one. Let's go back to the repository. Let's clear the screen and choose a different tool. Mixing the tools, and the winner now is chage, chage. And let's talk about chage. Chage is a tool that is related to the user management. If you define a new user on a system, you have a user on a system, for instance, via user add test 123. I have created a new user. Talking and typing at the same time is really difficult for me here. I have created a new user, test 123, and now everything that is available for the user, all the properties, are stored within the file etc passvd. Yeah, or we have learned we can use getent to get this line here, getent passvd test 123 will show me the same line. Yeah, these are all the information we have about this user. Yeah, then we have a group, and the user is member of some groups, for instance, but these are all the information only for this one single user. But one single information here is missing, and this information is the password. And the password, long time ago, was stored within the etc passvd within the second field, yeah, in an encrypted way within the second field. But today this password is stored within a different file, and just because the file etc passvd has to be readable by everyone, and because of this, it could be easy to get all the password or the encrypted passwords from all the users on the system, take them home, and then try some type of brute force cracking for these passwords. Yeah, and because this would be an security issue. The passwords were taken out from the etc passwd file, and the passwords were stored or are stored now within the file etc shadow. And the file etc shadow isn't readable by everyone, but only by the user root and members of the group shadow, I think. Let's have a look. ls-l etc shadow, and here we see etc shadow is only readable by root and, yes, members of the group shadow. So, and let's have a look into the file etc shadow. Let's start the grep via sudo. And what you see is, this is the one single line for the user test123. Till now the user doesn't has any password at all. Let's create a password for the user. Let's do this via passwd test123. Now let's type in a really easy password here. Let's have a look again into the etc shadow file, and you see here this is the encrypted passwd. Yeah. This is what the etc shadow file was created for. But not only the password is stored there, the encrypted password, but also some other values. And these values are values correlated to the validity, and how long the password is valid. And so this value here, 18,677, that says me that the user has changed its password 18,677 days, 77 days after the 1st of January, after the first of 1970. Yeah, so this is based on a Unix timestamp, but it is counted in days. Yeah, so 18,677 days. So if you want to see this and the other fields here, you can use the chage tool, chage-l. Yeah, these are the password aging information you see here, and chage is the tool for giving you this information and for modifying this information. Yeah, chage-l test123 gives me the information that the last password change was today, 19th February, yeah, 2021. I have a minimum number of days between password changes, 0. This is this next field here. We have a maximum number of days between password changes. This is this field here. And then we have a number of days before the password expires. Or the user test123 will be warned about this expiration. And this is this 7 here. Yeah. So here are some fields, and these fields define how the password expires over time. Yeah. When the user should create or think about a new password, for instance. Yeah. And chage gives you the information if called with -l, and chage can be used to modify these information. Yeah, let's call chage with --help here, and you see I could set, for instance, the max days to a better value. For instance, let's say I want that the user test123 has to change its password every 90 days. Yeah, I want to do it this way: chage -uppercase M 90, and then the user test123. Let's have a look. Chage shows me it was successfully And if I have a look directly into the file etc shadow, then I see there is also, or there's the 90, the value 90 stored. Yeah. Okay, so this is what the change age tool can be used for, to modify the password validity information, the password expiry information within the file etc shadow here. If you ask what would be the best way to give a new user a new password, if you create a new user, I've created a user test123 here, and I've given him a default password of test1232, yeah, and then it would be great to force the user to change its password upon the first login, not only after 90 days, yeah, but upon the first login. And if you want to accomplish this, then you wouldn't use the change age tool. You could use this, or you could do this if you want to. Yeah, just be sure that today plus 90 days is larger than the number of days stored within this place here. Yeah, but you could use the passwd tool for this. Passwd -- help shows you that you can force a password to expire. Yeah, so now I force a password to expire -e test123 for the user test123. Okay, I need to be root for this. Now let's try this out. Let's try this out on a different console. Here I have a different console. Let's switch to the user test123. So -test123. I have to type in a password test123, and now I'm required to change my password immediately. Yeah? Root enforced via passwd-e. And now let's try if I can find a secure enough one. Yes, and great, it worked. So yeah, you can use passwd-e to force the expiration of an already set password. Yeah, let's have a look into this via change age. Yeah, now change age tells me that the last password change was today. Password expires within 90 days. Let's set a password for new for the user. So now again, it is the default password. Now let's force the password expiry information. Now let's have a look, and you see password must be changed. Password must be changed. And let's have a look into etc shadow, test123 etc shadow, and you see here you have only zeros. You have only zeros, or this zero is the zero that expires the password. This is the day when the password last time has changed. Yeah, and you could, if you want to, change this via an editor, vi, for instance, too. Yeah, but best way would be to do this via passwd-e, and you can verify this via change age-l. Yeah, so this is the tool change age for handling this password expiry information. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look to the watch. Okay, time left for the last tool here for today. let's go into tools. Let's choose the last one for today, mixing the tools, and the winner is today or now nmap. Okay. Nmap is a tool for scanning a system remotely. Yeah. And if you want to know if a system is available on your network, if you want to know if a system is available, then what are the open ports on the system, for instance, then you can use nmap for this. Nmap is a network scanner. Yeah. Let's have a look if the nmap is installed on the system. No, it isn't. Let's install it. Let's try this via sudo apt get install nmap. We are on an Ubuntu system here. Okay, nmap is installed, nmap is available, and now let's say I wanna scan a remote system. First, let me choose a system that is a system of mine. I don't wanna scan systems from Google, for instance. Let's have a look at, let's scan localhost. It's the most easiest one here. Let's say you want to see if a system is up. What would you do? Typically, you just would ping this tool, this host. Yeah, ping 127.0.0.1, and it is available. Great. Now the second step could be to get information what services are listening on this remote host. Yeah. And you could do this by simply trying to connect to different ports. Yeah. Telnet is, for instance, installed. I could try if there is a web server available on the system. Yes. Yeah. Telnet to port 80. Is there a web server available? No, there isn't a web server available. There is an SSH server available. Okay. So there is someone listening on port 80. Is there an email server, an SMTP server available? No, isn't. Connection refused. Yeah, is there someone listening on port 443 for HTTPS traffic, for instance? Yes, there is, again, the SSH tool here. You could do this by hand, yeah, or you could use the nmap tool. Simply call the nmap tool, nmap, and give, in the most simple way, only an address, only host name, only an IP address of the system you want to scan. Yeah, let's say I want to scan the far away remote system localhost, 127.0.0.1, and you see it is up. Yeah, the nmap does by default nothing more than pinging the system, and then it tries to connect as fast as possible to a huge number of ports and gives us the information which ports are open here. Yeah, we have open the port 22, 80, 443 and 5060. Nmap is only scanning for TCP ports here. If you want to scan for other ports, for other services too, you want to scan for UDP services, for instance, then you could use dash lowercase u. I just have this in my mind, yeah, to scan for UDP services. Scanning for UDP services first needs root permissions. So let's call nmap now via sudo. And secondly, it takes a lot of time typically, because UDP traffic isn't connection oriented, but it takes some time to decide if the remote system don't want to talk with me. Yeah? So typically it will take some time, this time not, but you see I have the port 68 open here, a UDP port. Yeah. Okay, or a filtered, it is a filtered DHCP port, for instance. Yeah. So nmap scans your system, and nmap can do nearly everything when it comes to scanning. For instance, you can scan an entire network. Yeah, I don't want to do this now, but for instance, let's say you have within your environment 192.168.1.0/24, for instance. You can use nmap to scan the whole network. Yeah, every address here will be pinged, and if the host is available, it can be reached via ping. Then the nmap does the port scan here. Yeah. If you have a look into the output of nmap-help, yeah, you will see a really huge output, because nmap can do a lot when it goes to how to specify ports, for instance. How exactly do we want to scan? Yeah, do we want to scan, for instance, a UDP scan? Do we only want to have a ping scan? Yeah, I just want to know if the hosts are up. Do I want to trick some firewalls on the way? Yeah, then you could do such things like null scans, fin scans, xmass scans, and so on. How fast do you want to scan? There are some command line options that control the timing and performance here. Yeah, you can say just as fast as you can, or do one single scan every 2 days, for instance, if you want to. Yeah, so nmap is the tool when it comes to scanning a remote system. Yeah, it can be used to determine if a system exists on the network, not just only via ping, but also via different techniques. And it can then scan what's available on the system. This nmap can scan what OS, what operating system to expect on a system. It guesses this from various attributes it sees within the IP stack of the system. Yeah, so nmap can really nearly do everything when it comes to scanning a network, when it comes to scanning a remote system. Yeah. Okay, that was today's session. See you, I think, on Monday. Have a nice weekend.